What's up, you guys? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. So, you guys, I just got back from a freaking amazing carnival with my little boy. It was so much freaking fun, you guys. But now I'm. Okay, cool. Hold on. Sorry, guys. So I just got back, and Dr. B is going to be over here about 7:15. It is 7:10 my time, so we got a little bit of time. Little bit of time to shoot the shit. Um, hey, Lou. Hey, Kit Kat. I love you too. Okay, so let me tell you what I've been doing. Okay, so me and Nate just got back from a fall carnival, you guys, and we went and we played. You know how you throw the like a bean bag at the dunk booth? We did that. We did this thing where they spray paint their hair with like different colors. They had like 6 bouncy houses. They had a train ride. They had face painting. It was like a huge fall carnival, and it was just so much fun. So I was super grateful to be able to go. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Dr. B. Okay, I'm sending it to you now. It's going to be on your Dr. B at get Dr. B at gmail.com. So I'm sending it right now. Hold on. Okay. Okay, it should be coming through to your Get Dr. B. It's from this email, Dr. B. Pludre7156 at gmail.com. That's the email it's coming from. I just put it in the chat for you. This is super easy too. You're going to see Dr. B. It just pops right up. You'll click the link in the email I sent you, and bada bing, bada boom, you'll be on the live stream with me. So, hey, this is like so foolproof, you guys. Like, I'm literally living, because you guys know your girl is not very tech savvy. So, yeah, I don't know what you guys want to talk about tonight. Dr. B's going to come on. He can answer any questions that you guys have. Misty's here. What's up, Misty? Hey, Liz. Hey, Lou. If any of you guys have any questions, put them on in the chat. Let me know what you guys want to talk about tonight. Yeah, I know what I want to talk to Dr. B about. So I'm excited. What up? Gotcha.
Hi.
Oh, heck yeah.
Hi, Nicole.
Hey, Dr. B, what are you doing?
Sorry, I'm in a white t-shirt. It's been like a 14-hour work day, and it's been like that all week, so I just got home.
Hey, it's all good. You know, we ain't tripping over here. So I'm so glad you decided to come on and join us tonight for our MAT support group meeting. Welcome to everybody that's in the comments. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comment section right now. I'm going to be paying attention to what you guys are typing. And as you guys type it, I'll ask Dr. B, okay? So first of all, Dr. B, I got to talk to you about something.
Okay.
Okay. So I have been wanting to get you on the live stream to ask you about, and I know you made a video about it, but about the whole fentanyl outrage that we had the other day, like a week ago over here. And I was like, I know that I'm not wrong, but it just baffles me that the media or any news outlet would put that information out. Because if fentanyl could get into our system from us touching it, then so many people would be dead.
Yeah. I don't really know what you say. It's a pretty simple thing to answer. I don't understand. I do a lot of, my background is I'm a teacher. I'm a university professor of medicine. So I've always been trained to kind of this thing called critical thinking. And the media and what's out there nowadays about all kinds of things is so insane. And it's a very simple. So let's say a guy goes, a paramedic goes, and I've trained paramedics for years as the ER doc. A paramedic guy goes and he feels lightheaded. And the next report you say touching fentanyl can do this to you. It's really simple to verify. And the way you can verify it is, I was touching this stuff for years in the ER because we use a lot of fentanyl in critical care, in trauma, in neurotrauma. And I'm sure I've touched it a million times because, back in the day in county, we're pretty sloppy. Someone's dying. I'm not going to put on gloves. I'm going to just approach it and deal with what I need to do so they don't die. You get this stuff all over you all the time. It's really simple. If there's enough level of a drug in your system to cause an overdose, well, on the news, I want a doctor to come and tell me we did a urine toxicology on this guy and it was in his system, right? And I just don't even get that. So is it possible? Yes, but it's also possible for the moon to crash into the earth tomorrow. But it's highly statistically unlikely. It's one in something like 600 billion chances. So logically, it's possible. Physically, it's a pipe dream. I don't know how these things get out there. I don't know what the source is. I'd have to spend some time. I'd have to call the doctors. But for the most part, at this time, I'm just going to have to say it's nonsense. And the problem with it is not only do I not like false information or information that's not thought out, I also don't like another thing that this does. I got a response when I made the video from some first responders saying, screw the addicts, let's take care of the first responders. This is exactly what my concern is everyone's going to now add one more layer between the physical and the psychological barriers that we already have between us and the addicts, because everyone's going to be trying to glove up. It creates a psychosocial sort of aversion to touching that human being, but there's no evidence for it. And I saw this during the HIV/AIDS crisis. I used to volunteer at San Francisco General, which was the main place where all this stuff broke out. Nobody would touch these guys, and everyone was afraid to go into their room. So there's just no evidence, Nicole. There's no real evidence in the way that in science we call evidence.
Well, honestly, if it was that easy to get high, then I wouldn't have had to shoot drugs into my veins for so many years.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense on 50 different levels. I'm not even talking that level at it. It's just insanity. Drug addicts are, they might have this stuff all around all the time and they're touching it. People aren't just dropping over dead and overdosing. And it wasn't any overdoses. It was guy feeling faint-headed. Or the guy, because if that really happened and there was an overdose, two things I want to know. Did the guy respond to Narcan? Well, there was no overdoses. Number two, get a urine toxicology immediately, send it downstairs for a high specificity, high sensitivity test, and tell me if there's any fentanyl in the system, and the discussion is done. And you don't hear any of that. Did he pass out? Did you give him Narcan? Did he respond? That's a clinical secondary clue. They call it secondary marker. And then and another secondary marker that's more what's called specific and sensitive is get a urine test that goes down to the lab, and you do a chromatography on it and see if there was any fentanyl. That's it. And so it is silly and insane.
And that's why I kind of wanted to talk to you about it, because I think that what it does, like just what you said, is it puts a barrier between addicts and the EMTs or the first responders, and it separates us from each other like we're not human beings, you know? And
that's my concern.
And it makes me upset, and it makes me sad, because I feel like, why would you be, I mean, I don't know, like it's aggravating, it's upsetting. I see a lot of people come into comment sections and say stuff like, you know, let them die, don't resuscitate them, don't give them Narcan, don't waste that Narcan on them. It's our tax dollars that we're paying for it. And it's just like, what if that was your mom or your brother or your sister who was, you know, overdosing? Then it would be different, you know. But it's not until people are put in that position where it's directly affecting them that they change and think they see the person as a human instead of a person who's sick in their addiction. And even that, they don't see the person as having a disease or being sick. They see that person, that's their choice. They chose to be that way. They're choosing to, you know, kill themselves. And it's not even like that. We're not, most of the time when you're in your active addiction, I know for me, I was like, I made choices at the beginning, but after my addiction like took a hold of me, I was at the mercy of my drugs. The drugs made the decisions for me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I see Derek pointing it out. I just uploaded a video, part 2 of harm reduction. I didn't do it, someone else did. But in there, I actually talk about that. Have you ever spoken to an addict that says, once they get far enough in the addiction, where they tell you, I love this, I want to do this with all of the consequences? I mean, it's a little bit insane. I enjoy this, and this is what I want to do. They hate doing what they're doing. I've never had I saw 18 patients today. Not a single one of them is like, I love doing what I do. And this is exactly what I wanted to do when I grow up. And I want to have all of the consequences that this has, including being marginalized by society. So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I know that and you might get like one person who at the beginning of their addiction, it's all fun and games then. But once you cross over that imaginary line, it's not fun anymore. It's horrific. You start doing things that you're not proud of, and stealing from your family, stealing from your job, losing jobs, losing your self-respect and your dignity. No person wants that in their lives. Okay, I see a comment from Kitty, and she says, this is off topic, and maybe you can just DM me, Dr. B. I am a real chronic pain patient, 5 years at the same clinic, who got dumped and has lost her quality of life at 46, and I can't do this much longer. She wants to know if she can reach out to you personally and talk to you.
Sure. What is I'm sorry.
Well, she was a chronic pain patient.
Oh, no, I got that. What does DM mean?
Direct message.
Oh, sorry. This stuff was that. So to answer, she can. I don't know where she lives. Just to answer that question, I treat more from the UC Irvine. They're sending me more and more of their patients that are getting dumped from pain clinics that are real chronic pain patients, and they're about to commit suicide, and nobody will treat them with Suboxone. And I do. I got a case right now we're writing up and submitting to an academic journal for restless leg syndrome. I have a multiple sclerosis person. I have a vasculitis person. I have a rheumatoid arthritis person. And so these guys are getting dumped from their pain clinic, and this is the medication they should have always been on. And we're writing every single one of these cases up and submitting it to an academic journal, because they're just like basically they're in a fiesta mode right now, because they're like, oh my God, one of them actually was buying heroin on the street. She's 68-year-old Hispanic lady, and she was muscling it. And yes, Kitty may be an absolutely perfect patient. I got a guy who flies out from Arizona every month, and he was in a pain clinic for 15 years, and they cut him off, and he's got a legitimate disease, vasculitis, and he flies out. He won't go to a guy out there. So I do treat those.
Mm.
I'm writing some papers up about those and submitting them to academic journals. Uh, and I do deal with those. I'm sorry, maybe she can find. I don't know where she lives. Maybe she can find a progressive doctor that will understand the dosing and how it works for those patients. But she's welcome to contact me.
She actually lives in California.
Oh,
So
is it Southern California? Oh, I'm in Orange County.
she says she has a secondary condition and that she goes into anaphylaxis and will eventually die if I don't get meds, if she doesn't get meds. So she's been going through this, like, she just got discharged from her pain doctor because she had reached out to me. She lives in North Carolina, she said, or North California.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. He can. I'm trying to. I try to read. I am so backed up. I've been going 12, 14, 15 hours days. She can call my clinic Monday morning. Oh, you're in Napa Valley? I'm from Marin County, and my family lives in Novato, California. Just so you know, Kitty, that's where I'm from. And I lived in Berkeley for 13 years. Um, she can reach out to my clinic Monday morning at 9 a.m. I'm actually at Betty Ford doing a talk for those guys up there on Monday all day. But if she wants, I have no problem. Should I write my clinic number on here?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. This thing's great. I can see everybody.
I know. I know. I think so too. And it's super easy for me to work it. So I'm like loving it.
So I would have you even call me directly, but I'm being honest. I am so backed up, and I don't even know. My assistant's out of the state because she's had a thing in the family, and I can barely manage my days. And I got a 11-month-old boy, and but I will. If she calls Monday morning, gives me her information, uh, the Anna at the office will call me, and I'll reach back out to her.
Okay. 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 I got a question for you from Tandy. She says, I just switched from Suboxone. Hold on. Oh, so from Suboxone to Sublocade monthly injection. And the first 2 months worked great. But hold on. Oh, where am I at? Goodness. But I'm noticing it isn't as effective. Should I hang in there?
Is she at 100 or 300?
Hey, Tandy, are you at 100 or 300 milligrams with the Sublocade? We'll see what she said. I've heard a lot of people are getting on Sublocade now. I have a guy actually here on YouTube who has a channel. His name is Jeff, and his channel is called The Recovery, and he's also on Sublocade.
Yeah, I'm putting the people on it as well. It says that she's on 100. What I would do is I don't know the extent and depth of her use before. Can I ask how many milligrams of Suboxone were you on before the Sublocade? And this is not all really medical advice. This is please go to your provider and.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? I have had a lot of people tell me, like, once I get down low enough on the Suboxone, that maybe after I jump off Suboxone, that I should switch over to Vivitrol. And I've been thinking about that a lot too.
Thanks, Missy. That's not a. Those are some of the people. If everything is right, I do. Do that with some people. She was only on 8 milligrams. If she feels that, if she feels the 100 milligrams is not doing it for her, and if she's having withdrawal symptoms, one of the things that she might want to do is go back to her whoever is giving her the 100. They do have a choice of bumping it up to 300 because 300 or even 100 once it gets in your bloodstream and it equalizes is supposed to be equivalent to 16 to 24 milligrams of Suboxone. Now, if she was on 8, I would have to get some details about when does she get the symptoms, how often does she get it, is it at the end of the time that she gets it? If it's at the end of the month that she starts having symptoms, then she might want to go in a few days earlier and get the shot. If it's throughout the month and that 100 is not working and she probably just went to 100, oh, there's another, then she might want to go to 300. And what her doctor did is a good thing. It says, my doctor added Suboxone film by mouth, a quarter of a film until next month. Oh, perfect. That's exactly what I would have done. I would have added the film, 4 milligrams, maybe 2 milligrams. I would have followed her closely, and then I would have bumped it up to 300. And that's the advice I was going to give. Her doctor, I agree with what he did.
Good. Okay, good. Can you kind of explain to everybody what Sublocade is? Because a lot of people haven't even heard of it before.
Sure. Sublocade is Suboxone, and it's a mechanism of delivery of Suboxone. It's a kind of this fat molecule, and it slowly releases Suboxone or buprenorphine into your bloodstream at an even amount throughout the day, 24 hours a day. Now you don't have to take this strip, and that's what it is. And it has some benefits. I don't like talking too much about it in terms of advising. I can tell you and that's because the data for me has to be years into working, and clinical experience has to be years into working. But I do use it for certain people, and I do advise it for certain people, and it's working for those people that I'm using it on. Some of it might be if a guy can't afford, if you're real squirrely and you're really committed to this, but you're like, man, I just goof up, don't take my Suboxone and so on. I'm like, let's do the Sublocade. I can sleep better at night. You can sleep better at night. Always, I have to have the patient's free will and agreement because I want to empower the patient. I explain it to him and say, dude, this is what we got to do. And so we do that. It's working great. I got a couple of brothers that are really cool cats, but they themselves are like, I don't trust myself, Dr. B. I'm like, I don't trust you either. So,
Yeah.
and mom and dad. So we got them on it. Other people there's few people that just don't like taking the medication. And for them, it's great. Now, on the other side, I got a couple of people. This kid was actually in the OC register. You can look him up. His name is Brody Webster. He will never go to Sublocade. Why? That ritual of taking his Suboxone replaces his addiction. I'm okay with that. He's a poster child of the way you're supposed to take Suboxone. He takes it at a certain time, goes in his room, meditates, put this. So for him, stay that way. In time, things will change in culture and people will become much more comfortable with it. But my goal is I don't force anything on anybody. I have to educate you. You have to agree, because now I see treatment centers down here that don't know anything about medication-assisted treatment are demanding, yes, we'll take you. You got to go get this shot now. That's inhumane, and you're forcing a human being into something that I educate, I let society and culture have its impact on you. And then as long as I know I'm not going to hurt you, I will sort of empower you to make that decision with education and support. So I think it's a good thing, but there has to be more time passing.
Right, so they can get more studies on it to see
Not
how
studies, but I want clinical experience myself, because that itself really gives me a lot of anecdotal information that builds up into a repertoire of good decision making and being able to advise patients.
So you said you're seeing a lot of people where they're making people just get on it automatically. And see, that's kind of like what the problem is with Suboxone before, was a lot of doctors were putting people on it that they had a methamphetamine addiction. They weren't even opiate addicts, and they were saying, here, take this. And then that's what happens with Suboxone is a lot of times people don't, and it's our fault too. The patient doesn't ask the questions. The doctor doesn't give the information. So both people are just going in it. The person's getting on the medication, and then they decide they want to get off, and they can't just jump off because they have to taper. And then they say, well, my doctor gave me this medicine and now I can't get off of it. And it's like, well, that's partly my problem. And we have to do it together and ask the questions, ask everything you need to know. Like, you can't just go into a doctor's office and get put on something and not ask the questions, but that's what happens a lot of times in like these rural areas where the doctors aren't, they don't really know. They can prescribe the Suboxone, but they don't understand. I have some girls that come and they tell me, oh, well, my doctor gave me 8 milligrams, but I feel like I'm not making it through the day. I feel like I'm starting to feel like I want to use. I'm still having cravings. So I tell them, go talk to your doctor, sit down, be honest with them. Then they come back and they tell me, my doctor said, absolutely not. You will not go up. You can only have this 8 milligrams, and so it's almost like, because they don't understand what they're doing, that what the medication does, they think that the person is coming in there seeking more because they're trying to get high on it or something.
So that's an interesting thing. So for all my patients, I say, for now, I drive the bus. You can go up, you can go down, but I get to have the last say on it. So tell me what's going on. And I often increase patients' doses, and they're always afraid to ask for more. And I see this a lot. I'm like, just tell me what's going on. And I have no problem with you going up on it to the limit. And today was the first patient I had of the hundreds that I treat who was actually abusing this stuff. And this was the third time she came in, and she's taking 5, 6, 7. And I just keep telling her visit after visit, please stop lying to me. We'll solve it. Please. And I actually had to fire her today. And it's the first patient I fired in a couple of years, except people that stole scripts. So yes, there's no problem going up with it. You can take up to 32 milligrams a day. The international data shows 16 to 24 is where most people land. You need to get away from cravings. You need to get away from withdrawals. And then that's what you're looking for. And then you can see the patient getting better or not. They're always afraid to tell me they want more or this isn't doing. So I actually started a higher dose, and within a week or so, I taper back 4 to 8 milligrams if I need to. But what I do is I keep very close track of them. They only get a few days of scripts at first until they stabilize, and then they can come in once a month.
Right. Okay. That's how my doctor did it too. And he had me to where I stabilized when I first started out. And then I remember I came in and I said, I got bumped up 4 more milligrams because I was still kind of like, I was still struggling a little bit. But then I ended up in like 2 or 3 months going back down to just 8 milligrams. And that's where I stayed for like years. And now I'm officially down to the 6 milligrams. And then in November, I'll go down to 4 milligrams. So I'm excited. Okay. Derek wants to know, he says, what about Suboxone withdrawal? Have you seen very successful tapers? Maybe an example.
Sure. In fact, I have one from today. He's actually a pretty prominent guy in town, and he's pretty insane in so many ways. Long closet heroin addict. He's got a lot of issues, and he's got some issues that whatever. He's got issues. And when he came to me 5 months ago, I told him, I said, we'll call him Joseph. I said, Joseph, he's 69 years old. I said, I actually think here's a case where I'm wrong. I said, I actually think you need to stay on this medication, and I'll see you every week until we kind of figure out what we want to do. He hammered me. He was on 24 milligrams. He kept hammering me every week. And I finally said, okay, a month into this, I'm going to respect your decision. Let's go. And now, and he had tried with many doctors over the years to get off of this stuff and has never been successful. And now we are at 3 months where he is off of Suboxone. And I get people off all the time. I'm giving you an extreme example of a guy that I judged clinically should not get off this stuff. It was my judgment that he cannot do it. And I told him, don't do it. But we got him off of 24 milligrams to 0 milligrams, and it's going on about 12 weeks now. And he still comes in. I don't know why he keeps coming in. He keeps coming in, and wants to hang out. And then I'm like, okay, you can come in. But yeah, people get off. You got to be very careful with this. You got to make sure people are in the right mindset, they're in the right place in their life, the right physiology, and you got to give, just like when you put them on, just like when you keep them on, when you take them off, they need good clinical support and follow up, and you can be successful, Derek. It's just having, it's a little bit of art to it. You got to know when, and you got to, again, we got to go back to the point of that example is you got to respect the patient and their wishes. He wanted to be off. And okay, and I'll give you one more. We just got another girl off with a lot of support. She had a lot of opiate use for many years, and somehow it got, and she ended up having a lot of complications with her gastrointestinal tract. And she got it in her mind that it was the Suboxone. And we have her now finally off. It took no, it took about 3 months, but she was kind of adamant. I got to get off. She's a young, beautiful girl. Her looks matter to her. She had a lot of bad complications. So what I'm doing now is giving her very strong clinical support by seeing her every week. And I have some support medications which we're tapering off of now. And these are difficult ones that I don't think should get off. Other ones, yes, absolutely, you can do it, Derek, but you got to be careful, and it's a lot more finesse than putting someone on this medication.
Right. I feel like there's so many things that play into when you're going through a taper, like different stressors, okay? Job, finance, relationship, school, kids. Like I know for me, all this plays into what I'm doing with how I do with my doctor on my Suboxone taper, because there's some, like last 2 months ago when I went, I was like, should I go down another 2 milligrams or should I wait? And I kind of bounced back and forth between what I was going to do and how I felt. And I ended up going down the 2 milligrams. But I feel like I see a lot of people who are rushing. They're rushing, and I don't see who they're rushing against, but they're in this race to get off of the medication. And it's honestly, I think it's because of so many people judging and saying that they need to get off of it. I don't know anybody out there who's just like, Suboxone sucks, I can't stand it, I need to get off. Now, there's pros and cons to everything, all right? But the pros of being on Suboxone for me have far outweighed any of the cons that I experience, because I'm alive. I'm able to be, a mom. I'm able to be a part of my family and not go out and get high and ruin stuff. And so I just see so many people in this like imaginary race against themselves, basically. And I'm just like, slow down, just slow down. There's no reason to rush. Don't let other people's opinions or judgments make you make the wrong decision and then you jump off and relapse. I feel like I have seen so many people get off and then have to get back on because they got off too early and too quickly, and I don't want that to happen to me, and I don't want it to happen to anybody else, so I just try to encourage people to take their time and go slow, because there's no rush.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And in fact, one of the things I do with people when they do decide to do that, I make sure that they understand that just because I start to taper you off of it, please be secure in the fact that if we're going too fast or you want to get back up a little bit, I'm not going to say no. And that relieves a lot of, because their ideas, I'm a doctor and I want to get them off this stuff because I think they're abusing it. And I make sure they understand, look, if we go to 4 from A, you don't like it, we'll go back to A and we'll revisit this whenever you want. And oftentimes they're like, really? Is that true? And I got a comment from some guy yesterday saying, oh, you're just part of some great conspiracy. Yeah, you want to keep people on Suboxone forever to make money. And I kind of didn't feel like giving a long answer. I want to go on video and tell this guy, I'm like, hey, look, I actually am a treatment center owner. That being the case, what you don't understand is by not putting you on Suboxone, I do a lot better because you keep relapsing and keep coming back.
Yes.
and it's insanity to view. And number two, if you look at it from a harm reduction thing, I think Derek was commented on this guy's comment the other day. It's like, or somebody did. It's like, look, think about it your own self. You keep relapsing, you lose job, you lose money, you get diseases. You could be out there being extremely productive and making a boatload of money. You think I care about your doctor's visits money to get you out? I'm better off if you keep relapse. So I hear these comments all the time as if I'm part of some great conspiracy. I don't even like drug companies. I don't promote them. I don't, I'm the guy in residency that wouldn't let them bring residents any kind of meals. So just a lot of the thinking is I don't know. It's the same kind of thinking as our fentanyl touching thing,
Right.
Um,
It's all a conspiracy. It's all a conspiracy. And that's it. It's I don't why can't people see that? If you're not on Suboxone, like you said, I went to 5 rehabs. Okay. That was because I kept relapsing, kept going through the system, kept going to jail, prison, spending fines and fees money, wrecking cars. I mean, shoot, you just might as well draw a big fat dollar sign on me, because that's what I was when I was in active addiction. It was like the raw wash and rinse, wash and rinse. And so that's what I haven't been back to treatment in 4 years because I've been on Suboxone, and it doesn't make any sense. Suboxone helps many people, and if somebody has to be on it, what does it matter to you? That's what I want to know. What does it matter to anyone else? Why does somebody else's sobriety, their pathway to recovery, affect you so much? Anybody that wants to judge somebody else,
Yeah, it's just I think that's what I hope we do here is we change people's thinking, and at the same time, if you're somebody that's gonna go the sort of the route of abstinence, that's okay too if it works. But the only time I will intervene there is, look, you've done this for 10 years and you've lost everything. It's not working and adapt. So my job is to educate you and then support you and then point out to you in a critical manner the way you're thinking may be wrong. Please go this way. So if you've done this the abstinence way, great. I have no problem with that either. No one. It's like, take diabetes type 2. What is the first? There's some people that fix their type 2 or borderline diabetes by exercise and diet, and so it's the same thing. I didn't say you can't do it without medication. But in this case, the data shows that everyone should be offered, and the idea that they're not clean is, to me, it's insanity. And so all we can do is educate and promote and support the people in this community.
Right. I totally agree. That's my mission, is to let people know that if they're on Suboxone, if they're on methadone, whatever their pathway to recovery is, that they have support and that they can come here and be a part of a group of people who is not going to judge them. It's not going to make them feel, because here's the thing. People might not realize it, but when you say something like, if I say, hey, my name's Nicole, I'm in recovery, I'm on medically assisted treatment, and then the person says, oh, or how long have you been on it? And I say, oh, I've been on it for 4 years. And they say, oh, that's a long time. It's like just those little things that people don't realize. It's like, why do you got to say that? Like, say congratulations. I'm proud of you for changing your life. It shouldn't matter if somebody got sober through abstinence, medication assisted therapy, if they had like a burning bush experience and God came down from the heavens and helped them, told them to get sober and then they sobered up. I support anybody in whatever journey they decide to take.
Yeah.
Abstinence is amazing. I wish I could have got sober through abstinence. I tried it for 10 years and I could not get it right. And so I think it's unfortunate that even in our little community, our recovery community, that we have other addicts and alcoholics judging other addicts and alcoholics, because we're really all just trying to stay alive, be alive, be happy, be in recovery. That's all.
Yeah, I agree with you. But the human condition pops its head. The ugly part of the human condition always seems to pop its head out wherever you're at, even in a community that's supposed to be supportive and loving and enabling to each other. And that's a very negative comment. Oh, that's a long time, 4 years. My response is, you don't even know what a short time or a long time to be on this medication is, and that's how. So it's not right. And again, all we can do is just kind of push forward and try to change people's views and do the right thing and try to save lives. And I think forums like this allow for that to occur. But yeah, that sucks.
And Dr. B, I'm so grateful that we found each other, because I'm so glad that I can have you come on here, that you can answer people's questions, that we can all hang out and talk and share what we're going through, and to have you be able to answer the questions, because, I can say these things and I can share what's worked for me, and I can share how I went about getting on medically assisted treatment and how I'm working my taper and all those things. But whenever you come on and you can share, it really helps people to understand and to see, like, I'm not just making this stuff up, like, I'm not just saying things that I made up to be for fun. Like, this is really working for me, and this is how my life has changed so much. And I was a critic. I was somebody who said, if you get on Suboxone, you really don't want to be sober. I thought the same thing, because I was brainwashed to believe that the only way to recover was through abstinence. That was beat into my brain for years. And I kept failing and failing and failing. And so then I would get back up with my tail in between my legs, ashamed, embarrassed, and I would try again, and then I would fail. And I kept on doing it, knowing it wasn't working, knowing it wasn't working. And then seeing my son get taken away, seeing my parents have to see me dying in the hospital. And I kept trying it. Why did I keep trying that? I kept on overdosing because that's what I thought I had to do. I thought that was the only way to be sober, and it's not. And that's why I get so mad. And that's why I'm so serious about trying to help other people that are on Suboxone or methadone to not feel like they're all alone, because I felt the same way. I thought I had to do it that way because that's the way everyone told me I had to do it, and I'm so grateful that my husband showed me and taught me and said, hey, listen, this medication can help us. I've been on it before. I know and because I would have never tried it if my husband hadn't got put on Suboxone. It was because of my husband that I got on Suboxone. And at first I was so angry at him, but now I'm so grateful, because I really don't know if I would be here if I hadn't gone on Suboxone. From looking at my past and all the relapses that I had, I don't know if I would have been here,
I agree with you 100%. And I'm happy you got onto Suboxone when he did. Why did he get on Suboxone? What was the doctor told him, or he just chose that he knew what he was doing?
Well, before I met my husband, he had been on Suboxone when it first came out. Like, they were testing it back then. And so he had gotten on it before and then jumped off and got on methadone. And then I met him, and when I met Neil, we got pregnant in 2013, had our son in 2014, and the state of Arkansas came and took our son, and said, listen, you can't have your kid because you're getting high. So when I was in treatment, Neil went and got put on Suboxone because he didn't go into treatment. He stayed out and was working the job, and I went into the rehab because the state was making me go into treatment because I'm the mom. And so I went into treatment, came out, and Neil was on Suboxone already, and we lived together. So I had like 2 weeks sober, and I was like, what am I going to do? And so we met with my doctor, the psychiatrist, and the DHS caseworker. We all had a meeting and sat down, and I said, listen, I can't stay in the same house as him with him being on Suboxone, because I'm going to take his Suboxone, And so I was really angry because I thought that being on Suboxone was this horrible thing. And then we sat and talked about it a little bit more. I talked to my parents about it, and then I got on Suboxone also. And I'm telling you, it was the best decision I ever made because I got my son back. I got my life back. I got my job back. I got a car. I have my family, everything. All because I was able to stabilize on the medication, and then I was able to get therapy and build a foundation in recovery. But I could have never done that if I hadn't gone on Suboxone because I was so unstable. I was unstable mentally, emotionally. I was a wreck because I was crying every single day because my son was in foster care. So I would see my son at a visit, and then I would have to leave him with the foster parents. And so I would come out of there crying and so just a wreck. And so I truly think that if I had kept on going that way, I would have ended up getting high, you know?
Well, I'm glad you got on the Suboxone onto it. And everything you describe is exactly how it should be used. You get on it and you start addressing every other issue, get stabilized, move forward, and yeah, and hopefully more and more people are starting to catch on to this idea. That's what I'm hoping.
I think they are. And I don't want to hold you hostage because I know you're probably tired, but you have no idea, Dr. B, how much I appreciate you coming on my channel and just talking with everybody. I mean, there's 20 people in here right now, and I'm just so grateful to have you to be able to come on here and hang out with us.
It's my pleasure, and I it's my pleasure and honor. Is there any other questions that you guys have? I can't see all the things that they say. Is there anything in particular that I can answer?
Do you guys have any questions? Let's see. Let me go up here. So Kentucky King says, I've been on Suboxone for 3 years and have no plans to get off. Not going to be pushed by society. Good deal, Kentucky King. I hear you. Okay, I have to read this funny comment from God's Elect. God's Elect says, I feel fantastic on heroin too. So why can't I have that as maintenance?
There,
They do that.
there's a
Hey,
there's
don't they do that in other countries? Or aren't they starting to do that like in Canada or something?
well, no. What they're doing is allowing people to shoot up. There's actually a clinical answer why you can't do that, God's elect. And here's the issue. Now, again, in the same way that there's people that can potentially not be on Suboxone and recover, in the same way that somebody can have a drink every night and be good, and that's it, it never escalates. In that same way, again, we're talking statistically, it's possible, except much more rare, that somebody could take a little bit of dope every night or on the weekends and be good. Now, this was really, for me, this was really said by Keith Richards in a Rolling Stones article in the 90s when he was a 30-year heroin addict. And he said something to the effect, it's been 30 years since I read it, was like, it's easy for me to be a heroin addict. I got all the money in the world. I get the best dope. I get clean needles. I don't got to wake up ever. And I do it in the privacy and security of my own home. And there's a point to this. Heroin versus maintenance medication is that heroin by nature, you're going to need more and more and more. And it's eventually going to take over all of your life. It is not accepted by society and it's illegal. So you can't get the clean, sterile, measured stuff. And you put every single one of these things together. That's why you can't do the heroin. Whereas, and it doesn't work. Whereas maintenance medication by definition means that a certain dose will cover all of your needs for 24 hours. It's given by a doctor, and it doesn't have all the health and social consequences in the long run that heroin will. And for the most part, you cannot outsmart addiction if you're going to, and then people try to do it every day, God's elect, they're like, man, I can do this. Okay, I got this under control. I'm just going to take a little bit. Nobody knows. I can go to work. And you know what? Somebody once said to me, you cannot outsmart addiction or cheat it. It's going to catch up with you. And that's my, and part of the allure is that it feels great at first. So later on, you're chasing the dragon. There's no such thing as a dragon. So I get the humor, God's elect, and I understand your point, but be really careful with that thought analysis, because it's a dangerous thing, and every addict at some point has thought that, and nobody has beat it.
We've all tried. I mean, I've tried. I have literally went and bought dope and said, okay, here's my Monday stash, my Tuesday stash, my Wednesday stash, my Thursday stash. And guess what? Guess what? By Monday night, I was doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because we lose the power of choice, and the obsession to use is so great. It's not just the physical, it's the mental obsession in the mind. It's like, you know how you watch the Cookie Monster or the Tasmanian Devil? That's what addiction is like. You just can't stop. It's like Pringles. You pop, you can't stop. You're not going to be able to manage it. That's the whole thing about addiction, is the unmanageability of it and the loss of control. And if you show me a drug addict that can dose themselves once a day, every day on heroin, I'll pay you money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know anyone that can do that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And then once you make, once it's illegal, and so just so you guys know, one of the reasons for, if you look at the data, not legalization, but decriminalization and injection sites, which someone pointed out, the word I was looking for is needle, and it was classy bitch pointed out injection. Sorry, guys. But one of the nice things about something like that and decriminalization is part of the destruction that drug addiction does to you is the fact that it's illegal and not accepted by society. If you decriminalize and create injection sites, now you stop death, you stop disease, you manage what they're taking in, and eventually there's a concept most of you may be familiar with, bell curve. You will go to the height of your addiction, calm down, and eventually recover, and we can save everybody's life. And that's the thing. If you decriminalize, because part of the problems is I can't go to work on heroin and I can't buy it from the liquor store, and so I'm going to go into bad situations, and that's going to destroy my life worse. So just some things to think about. How destructive this thing is and why it's destructive. And if we change the way we approach it as a society, it would be less destructive, and all those drug dealers and stuff wouldn't make money, but the prison system wouldn't make money, the legal system wouldn't make money, and I can go on forever.
Everybody would be out of money. Well, does anybody else have any more questions? Let me see. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Liz. Okay, so God's elect says he concurs, so that's good to hear.
Thank you, God.
You know what? We're going to answer the questions, even if they're, so good, lab girl. Let me see. I'm nearly off on 0.8 for a while and 1.6 for a year before that, after maximum dose of 5.6. That's awesome, God's elect. That is so great. Just take your time. No rush. You know what I'm saying? Just take your time. Make sure that you're ready when you get off. That's what the whole thing is, you guys, is make sure you have support and that you're not jumping off because of any pressure from anyone else. Let it be your choice. Okay. Let it be your decision. So, all right, Dr. B, I guess I'm going to let you get out of here.
Thank you, everybody, for having me on, Nicole. That was a lot of fun. Sorry, I'm just so wiped out today. We'll do this again soon. Let Austin know. And if you need anything, email me. Okay. And thank you guys for watching. Hi to everybody. And it was nice to see you guys all.
And you guys, listen, go over to Dr. B's channel. There's 16 of y'all in here right now. Dr. B, Addiction and Recovery. I will link his channel in the comment section and in the description. If you guys need anything, you can get him over there, or you can get a hold of me and I'll get a hold of him too. Okay? All right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Dr. B.
Bye.
All right. Hey, guys. So is everybody doing okay? Let me see what I got going on. Looks like I'm freezing up. Okay, you guys, listen up. I love y'all. I just wanted to tell you guys that. Thank you to everyone that came to the live stream tonight. Your support means so much to me, you guys, and I just want you guys to know that. Being a part of this recovery community has really helped me so much and I'm so grateful to be able to be of service to all of you. You guys really help me just having a purpose, and I just want you guys to know that. I love y'all, and Hearts Love just linked Dr. B's channel. Thank you so much, Hearts. I know I'm froze up, so I'll let y'all go, and I hope you guys have a good night, okay? All right, you guys. I know, Misty. I love you too, Liz. Okay, let's see what we got going on, you guys. I'm freezing up over here. All right, there we go. Come on now. Sorry, y'all. I know y'all are probably going, why is she still there? End. Come on now. Come on, computer.